is we'll divide you into 3 groups, and either Lee, myself, or Laura will be your leader. And this is a treasure hike. So there's clues that'll tell you to do something at an activity, and then another clue that will tell you how to look for the next clue and where to go. We're going to start at different places, but you will all get to do all the same things. Before we leave, I want to talk about a few safety things. First of all, we're guests in the animal's habitat today, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to be good guests. You know, you wouldn't like it if somebody came to your house and wrecked your house and broke your toys, and right?
No.
So, in order that we don't destroy the animals' homes, we're going to walk in single file lines between each clue. And we'll try and avoid the bushes, because that's where the animals tend to build their homes, is under the bushes. And also, if there's any ticks, the ticks are on the bushes, so that it's a good way to avoid getting any ticks.
Or rattlesnakes.
We're talking about them next. Or actually, we're going to talk about the lizards, because most likely we will see lizards. And right now the lizards are having babies, and that takes a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy to be a parent and raise kids. So if we see a lizard, we're not going to go, look, there's a lizard! Because what's a lizard going to do? It's going to run. First he's going to go, ah, predator! And he'd be so scared, and his heart rate's going to go up, and it's going to stress him out, and he's going to run away. And then you, the person who saw it, will be the only person who saw the lizard. So instead, we go, and you point. And when somebody sees somebody else do this, everybody stands still and is really quiet. And then whoever saw the lizard said, okay, it's over there under the rock. And try and describe where it is. Then everybody gets to see the lizard instead of the person who chased it away. Now this is for being safe around snakes no matter where you are, not just Fish Slough. In California, this isn't true everywhere, but it is true here, all poisonous snakes have triangular shaped heads, okay, because they're all pit vipers. So if you can tell that your snake has a head and a neck, there's a distinction. You see one. It's poisonous. Stay away from it. See how this snake's head just goes, blends right into its body?
Yeah.
This guy's a gopher snake.
He doesn't bite you?
No, well, he might bite. Look at the pattern on their backs. They look very similar, huh? If you saw this snake under a bush and didn't see its head, would you be able to tell, oh yeah, it's a gopher snake, no problem? Or would you go? You wouldn't. That's the gopher snake's protection. He pretends to be a rattlesnake. And it works for predators except humans. Because humans freak out and they chop them in half. But we want gopher snakes. Actually, rattlesnakes are good too, except as long as they don't bite us. Because what do these guys eat?
Mosquitoes.
No.
Bats.
No. Rats, mice. They eat the rodents. And so they help keep the rodents at bay, and you won't have too many rodents in your yard. If you have a gopher snake in your yard, you got a friend. You want him around. You don't want to get rid of him.
Are those stuffed snakes?
They're real. They're real stuffed snakes. They got run over, and when I saw that happen, I grabbed them and skinned them and tanned them so that for this talk. So you could see actual snakes. Mm-hmm.
We saw
You're the first class to ask that.
We saw owls stuffed. So they're actually snakes?
They're real snakes.
Can I try touching the
Yeah, come on down.
Never touched a snake before, Destiny?
I have.
Let's talk about how to be safe around snakes. So sit down. Never put your hand where you can't see. So I am not going to put my hand in this hole under the rock because a snake could be in there having a nap. And what's he going to think when he sees this huge hand come in?
Bite it.
Yeah, he's going to bite it. He's going to be scared, huh? If I'm climbing a rock and I put my hand up here on the top, I don't know if there's a snake up there. So he could, if he is sunning himself, warming up, he might bite me. The other thing is, rattlesnakes have the most advanced vision, okay? They don't see the way we see. They see infrared. You guys have seen what a night vision goggle in the military put on at night, you know, to see? And they see heat signatures, that kind of yellow, blurry, when they see people moving. Have you seen that on TV?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we learned that from rattlesnakes. That's how they see. So if George here is cruising along and he sees Kayla, he doesn't see pink shirt, blue jeans. He sees yellow heat. And he goes, yikes, too big to eat. Rattle, 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 rattle. Go away, big thing, you scare me. Now,
Yeah, that's a warning.
if Kayla respects that warning and goes, whoa, and walks away, everything's fine. The snake will go the other direction and leave you alone. If Kayla doesn't respect that and continues to threaten the snake, what's it going to do? It's going to coil and try and strike her. Okay, so the way to deal with snakes, when you see them, to be safe, is walk away from them.
Walk away, not run away because it might chase you.
Well,
or just stop.
you could run away. The risk of running away is you might trip on something and fall down.
And then the snake might catch up and get you.
Right. You can probably outrun a snake. Okay, how many of you like to go outside and walk around with your headphones in your ears? All right, let me tell you a story about that. I do too. I used to like to run with my headphones, you get in the groove. But I was going up to the Druids up by off of Chipmunk Canyon,
Oh my.
running and there was a rattlesnake and it rattled at me, but I didn't hear it because I was grooving to my tunes. Well, coming back down the trail, that rattlesnake was a little upset with me because I didn't respect it the first time. And it was up on the hill, on the slope from the trail, and it was going to come and chase me. It was mad. But fortunately, I was running and I ran past it. So it's a good idea if you go outside with your tunes in, only have them in one ear and turn down low enough that you can hear what's going on around you. Because otherwise you could miss the rattlesnake, giving you the warning. Alrighty, so last thing, a cool picture that we have is, this was taken by one of the x-ray techs at the hospital. They found this snake. He had just had breakfast and then he got run over, or he couldn't move fast enough anyway. So here's can you guys all see this? Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Here's the snake eyes, but right here is the head of the mouse, and then going around here, and here's his foot. So this whole thing right here is the kangaroo mouse that he'd had for breakfast, but slowed him down, and so he didn't get away from whatever ran him over.
The rock called tough pink is the color of this stuff. The granite is speckled with crystals of black, pink, or white. It comes from the Sierra that are within sight. Basalt is not found at Fish Slough, though it might seem familiar to you. From a cinder cone it did come.
Alrighty, so tough pink stuff. Okay, you're all sitting on it.
Short granite.
Tough is made from welded ash. When the volcano blew the ash, as it came back down, it's super hot and it melts back together and it makes tough. It's kind of a more fragile of the volcanic rock. Okay.
It's granite.
Granite is look at you guys. Granite is the speckly rock. And basalt is the all black rock. So come here to the pile and each of you pick up a small sample of tough granite and basalt. Good job. You can put your granites back down on the ground, please. Ben, I'm still waiting for yours. What?
There's no gold in granite. You just spoiled it.
You know what, Lucia? The gold you see, the gold speckles in granite, it's called mica, fool's gold.
And I found some.
Yeah.
Can I
Okay,
Can we
and
keep the
last
rocks
one is
out?
the tough.
What?
No, we're going to leave the rocks here.
Okay.
Because you know what? A lot of second graders come here. If they all took the rocks, there wouldn't be any left. All right, good. Pink one is tough. It's bishop tough, okay? Remember that. We're going to ask you about that later. All righty. Now, who gets to be line leader? Who was behind Alex?
Me.
Angel?
No, it wasn't.
Remember your order.
It was Angel.
It's Angel, yeah.
And I
Okay.
was behind Ben.
Wait. We're not quite here. Here's the next clue. Point down the hill towards the slough. Everybody point to the slough. Okay, the slough is the brown reeds that go all the way up. Now, let's go look at something new. Can you spy with your eye the largest rock that is nearby?
Aha, right there.
Okay, between us and the slough.
Aha.
It's there that our next clue waits. So, that means live.
They make
Their homes in which to hide. How can you tell who lives here? One way is the droppings that they leave near. Okay, so if we're gonna try and figure out who lives in this rock or under the rock, how would you know? You're not gonna see the animal. How would you know exactly what animal lives under this rock? What kind of things would an animal leave behind? Kayla, thank you. Footprints. Yes, that's a good one. Another one.
Scales.
Yeah,
Like
that's
shred.
a rock wren. Sometimes you get to see them, the animals. Yeah, Tavian.
They could leave their skin because they could probably shed their skin out, then go inside.
Okay, if they shed their skin, but they only do that once a year, and they live wherever they live all the time. And there's something they always leave besides their footprints. Footprints are a good one. What do we do every day?
Found more food.
That's a footprint.
I found more food.
How about poop? Okay,
Not touch.
so here's the clue. Wait. Tavian. Okay, look close, but do not touch. Some call it poop, but here's the real scoop. Scientists call it scat, whether it comes from a coyote or a cat. Use this card and try to discover who dwells near this rock to be undercover. Okay, so here I have examples of scat. We're scientists now. If it's round, if you see round poop like this, it's a rabbit. If it's big, it's a jackrabbit. If it's smaller, it's a cottontail. Okay? If it's oval and this size, now the color doesn't matter. As poop gets older, it goes towards white. It goes from dark to lighter. So like this is fresher than this one. So we're not worrying about the color, but this size and shape, that belongs to a desert wood rat or a pack rat, and they're big. They're like a guinea pig.
Guinea pig. I hate guinea pigs.
Okay, if it's smaller and oval, you notice that these two scats are pretty similar in shape.
Yeah, but this one's darker and smaller.
And the smaller one belongs to a deer mouse. And this poop is important for you guys to see and recognize because deer mice live all over the Owens Valley. They're around your house. They're in your yard. They might be hanging out in your garage. And deer mice carry a virus called hantavirus. Hantavirus is an airborne virus. So if you disturb fresh poop or pee from the mouse, or you have a dead mouse that's infected with it, and you disturb it, you can breathe the virus in, and it will kill us. Okay, there was a 13-year-old boy 2 years in Bishop that got it. He was out playing around in the rocks is where they think he got it. Okay, so if you go explore caves when you're hiking, if you're even out here and sticking your head in these caves and that's fresh poop and you disturb it, you can be breathing that virus in. It will make you super sick really fast.
I'm not breathing.
Within a week, he was in the hospital. He spent 2 weeks in the hospital on life support. Fortunately, he recovered. Okay, so that's... He got better.
Ew.
So that's an important one to recognize and know if you see it that you need to go get an adult to spray it with bleach and that'll kill the virus.
I don't want to.
And the last one, this size is coyote poop. Okay? So we're going to look around the base of the rock and look for some poop and see whose poop it is.
And what would an animal seek on a long hot day?
What would an animal seek on a long hot day?
Water. They would seek in their homes, or rattlesnakes, they would come out.
Yeah, rattlesnakes. But what would...
Lucia!
Water. Say it louder, Ben.
Water! Lucia!
Yeah, see the slough is right there. We've flagged this area off because we saw some good tracks, okay? The tracks that are out there there's some raccoon tracks, and they have 5 fingers. There's coyote tracks, and then there are deer tracks. And I'll show you where they are.
This rock came from a volcano a long time ago. There are many holes to see. These are from the gas bubbles that used to be trapped in the ash of
as it flew through the air. It cooled right away after it landed right here. Okay, so see the Sierras? Those are the mountains under the clouds. And then we have this flat spot. And then we have the dark mountains over to the right. Those are the glass mountains. Well, between the glass mountains and Sierra and that flat spot, that's now Crowley Lake. But a long, long time ago, there used to be a big mountain as big as Mount Tom in that space. And that's the volcano. And it erupted. It blew up.
What happened to it?
It's right here. We're standing on it. Okay. It was the largest volcanic eruption on the planet. This was 760,000 years ago. So
Wow.
you've seen pictures of the eruptions of volcanoes with lots of ash and stuff blowing up in the air, okay? Well, that's the kind of eruption this was, not the oozy kind they do in Hawaii. And so then you have all this big cloud of hot ash, and then it starts coming back to Earth, and as it comes back, it's super hot ash, and it melts itself back together. It's called welded ash. That's tuff. It's bishop tuff because it's pink. This eruption was so large that if you go into the Midwest, into Kansas in the United States, way east of here, thousands of miles east of here, and dig down, you will find a foot of this ash in their soil because the ash cloud covered the earth from this eruption. These little things here, and there's some in there too. All right. Who has made their home in these old gas bubbles? Oh, and so the bubbles are gas that was escaping from when the volcano was active and it was hot, and that's the track of the gas.
That's wasp.
Yes, an old mud wasp lives in this rubble, and here's what a mud wasp looks like. But these are old. Halfway through our hiking,
Listen, she's gonna explain to you. If you guys tune in, you'll learn.
all right, you know what? We'll just skip the poem. So this is lichen. It isn't fungus, just fungus. Lichen is two plants, fungus, and funguses are like mushrooms, right? They don't have any color, which means they can't make their own food. They have to be green to make their own food. So, but fungus can hold water. The other plant is algae. Algae is that slimy stuff that grows in creeks and stuff, that green slimy plant. It needs lots of water, right? Well, Freddie Fungus and Alice Algae got together and took a lichen to each other. The fungus and the algae get together and form lichen, and they allows them to live in an environment that neither one of them could live in by themselves. And depending on what algae is holding hands with the fungus will determine the color. So like there was some really nice green up at the rock where you're looking at the scat, and then you have the fluorescent yellow and the orange and the black and that kind of gray.
On the soil of which you stand, it is full of things from this land. Can you tell what makes up the soil? The boulder
Becomes a rock.
which then becomes sand. But
Okay, so the boulder is slowly eroding down into smaller rocks, and the rocks keep eroding until it's sand. Okay? But something else comes from the land. What else breaks down and mixes with dirt, fertilizing the plants for a growth spurt?
water, rain. Because
Okay, water. What else? What's from the soil?
Cookie
What's
money
on the
cookies.
soil? Right. Look around, you guys.
Rocks,
Besides the rocks. What else?
sticks,
Okay.
plants.
So dead plants and animal droppings fertilize the live plants. Okay, now with your back to the rock right here. So everybody line up with your back right to that slough. And can you see the reeds and the way it meanders all the way up the valley?
Yes.
Okay, that's the slough or the creek. There's water there all the way. Actually, there's a big lake farther up. The slough begins where those low, kind of look like bare blonde hills are.
Yeah.
That's the beginning where the water starts, and then it flows all the way down here and out to the river. This whole thing is called Fish Slough. Now, do you see any trees?
No. I see one.
You see one? Where's one?
Oh wait, no, that's a bush.
Anybody see any
Wait,
trees?
is that a bush? Is that a tree?
Yeah, good eyes.
need
There's
to get
one tree right over there, one cottonwood.
Oh, I thought that was just a big bush. That's why I saw it.
Okay, now let's read the...
In this land where trees are rare, a drift fence was used to keep sheep over there.
Okay, now we're not going to read that part yet. So, when the rancher needed to build a fence, he couldn't build it with wood, right? There's not enough trees. So instead, right here, he stacked up the rocks to make a fence. It's not fungus. What's it called?
Lichen.
Lichen.
Then
He built the fence and then he put in some barbed wire to keep the livestock from drifting from one pasture to another. All right. Now, what are we going to do next?
Ella, I'm unimpressed that you're not paying attention.
it was the leader. Turn around and back, you trust. It's not hard to follow the rock.
How many of you have been hiking? And the volcano erupted, boom, and the boulder landed here. This funny shaped one looks more like the one behind it. 760,000 years ago. It looks like a hammer. But, so what natural force has been slowly wearing this rock away to look like a hammer and not a blob? Lucia?
The wind.
Yes, the wind it blew, the sand it flew along the ground, the rocks did pound. I bet it made quite a sound. How many of you were outside last Friday? It was really windy, huh?
Yeah. And I heard and it was also raining.
So if you were standing out here last Friday, this sand would be hitting you about at your waist. The wind would be pushing it, and then it blows it up into that rock and it wears the rock away.
That looks like a gun. Take a straight line and walk to the side.
Okay, so looking up at the cliff, go along the skyline, go over to the right, and you see one of the rocks up at the top, there's a big hole, and then to the right of that, there's a smaller one with a bunch of whitewash below it. That's what we're talking about. Big gas bubbles, a big cave, it's all connected. And that's a nest. And here's the riddle.
What creature of the night silent is to its flight to return here to rest?
Owl.
In its
That's an
rocky
owl.
nest? No, owl.
Okay. Well, that's a good guess. Why do you think it's an owl over a bat? Alex?
I think it's an owl because owls at the night are silent to catch the predator.
So are the bats. They're both excellent guesses. Okay, so if we went up close, what would we look for to decide? Is it a bat or an owl?
I think both.
No, they won't. They wouldn't nest together. Ben, what would you look for to determine if that's a bat or an owl's nest? No, what would you look for? You're right, it's a great guess.
A dark cave.
No, it's what you hate. What would you look for?
An owl.
What animal sign would you look for to say, yes, definitely, that's what nests there?
It has
One?
feathers.
You wouldn't, they both fly, so they don't leave
Feathers.
footprints.
The shape?
No, come on, we already did this.
Feathers.
Feathers, maybe.
Poop.
Yeah, what's it?
It's poop.
Yes.
They're poop.
With owl, oh, it is an owl, you guys. With owls, the whitewash is actually their poop. When the mother comes into the nest, she poops before she gets in there so that she keeps the nest clean. So that's pretty hard to see because it's just white, squirt. So, but what owls do, Juan, would you hold your fist out like this? Okay, here's this cute little mouse squirming around, and here comes the owl with its big talons, right? And it snags that mouse, and then what does it do with it?
Swallow it, chews it.
How does it chew it? It doesn't have teeth. They just have a beak.
They just swallow it.
Yeah, they rip it with their beak and they swallow the whole thing. Well, the fur and the bones don't have any nutrients for the owl. So it has a special place in its throat called a crop. And the bones and fur go, and then they spit that back up. So these you guys will have to share. But don't take them out of the bags. But look at them and you can see the bones and the fur
What is it?
of the animal that the owl ate. What do owls eat?
Mouse.
Mice, yeah.
Oh, it's